Meanwhile, in the city, some people were still unaware of the impending danger. A little girl, holding her mother's hand, laughed happily. Ha! Today is so much fun! While a lonely young man pondered, where should I go now? At this moment, from the distant sky, a thick, bright red pillar of light shot out from the bottom of the black spaceship. The beam of light swept across the city. Skyscrapers, like avocados sliced by a laser knife, quickly collapsed and melted. The entire city instantly plunged into chaos. Countless people fled everywhere. It was truly like the end of the world. Run quickly! A sea of fire quickly engulfed the entire city, incinerating everything. The martial artists witnessing this scene were extremely curious. What's going on? One person beside them, discerning, seemed to realize, are we being attacked by outsiders? The martial artists quickly shouted, quickly evacuate the civilians, retreat. And the black spaceship hovering over the city was like a god of death from the starry sky. It frantically bombarded. An invisible ripple emanated from a screen on the black spaceship, instantly spreading over a vast area. Projected from it was a burly giant, nearly 3 meters tall. This one-eyed giant, whose martial appearance seemed as if he had traversed 10,000 years into the future, a high martial artist traveling 10,000 years later figure, was fierce and exuded a profound sense of oppression. His loud, clear voice echoed everywhere. My dear residents of Azure Star, pleased to meet you for the first time. My name is Aki. He gave a sinister smile and continued. Next, I want to tell you a few things. From now on, all of you belong to me. The slaves, witnessing the city bombarded by the spaceship and hearing these words firsthand, the people below in the city froze as if sprayed with glue, their faces etched with horror. We're doomed. I heard from a guy that they are cosmic bandits, terrorists in the universe. What? A blood-curdling scream almost tore through the space. Instantly, a bone-chilling coldness ran down the spines of the nearby people, making them shudder in terror. Goosebumps rose in waves. A primal and sudden fear gripped their hearts. Meanwhile, in the dreamscape, the young Shang patiently rubbed his hands together to create the next planet. Clink, clank, a clear sound like colliding crystals, also representing new birth. Within the 7-colored crystal planet, a crystal life form broke out of its shell. This crystal life form had a round body, a long, slender neck like a snake, a head resembling a qilin, and a pair of small wings. Its entire body was made of crystal, transparent and sparkling. One could see vibrant blood flowing within it, along with a powerfully beating crystal heart. This evoked a breathtakingly beautiful and soul-stirring aesthetic. The Crystal Dragon. Shang looked at this legendary creature, entirely created by his own hands, and a great sense of accomplishment naturally welled up in his heart. How interesting, Shang couldn't help but praise. This is the game of the Lord of Creation. This can also be considered a part of cultivation. Young Ijo added with a smile, his eyes narrowed. This is also cultivation? Shang blinked and asked. Yes, this is also cultivation. I can feel that my understanding of Senior Wang He's and Senior Duan Yifeng's Dao has now reached an unprecedented level. Yang Ijo continued. Although there are still many things within it that I cannot understand at my current stage. After all, the gap in our experience is truly too vast. Yang Ijo further explained. Although you can't grasp it all yet, everything has been subconsciously engraved deep within your body through this creation game. When the time is ripe, you will naturally be able to use it. Shang, still finding the concept of gaining martial arts from 10,000 years later through dreams hard to understand, scratched his head. It's really hard to understand. At this moment, he suddenly sensed a powerful energy fluctuation and asked Yang Ijo, this energy fluctuation is... Old Yang Ijo looked towards Wang He, smiled, and exclaimed, Old Wang is actually using this move. Shang looked up and found that the divine domain battle between Wang He and Duan Yifeng had entered a critical stage. Old Duan, take this move of mine. Within Wang He's sun divine domain, countless fixed stars began to expand, their color changing from the initial gold to deep crimson, and the temperature frantically rose. This surge of energy fed back into the 3-legged golden crows. Each 3-legged golden crow began to grow larger, becoming even more ferocious, and the flames on their feathers soared accordingly. Shang's eyes lit up as he said, that's a red giant star, condensed from the power of the 3-legged golden crows. It's hard to imagine what its next stage of development will be. A supernova? A neutron star? Or a black hole? In this instant, Shang seemed to grasp something. From Wang He's Dao, he saw the combination of mythology and reality, both real and illusory, beautiful and brilliant like a nebula. Then, Shang, he who devours the power of 10,000 years later and becomes invincible, looked towards Duan Yifeng on the other side. Duan Yifeng's spirit was also very relaxed as he retorted to Wang He. You brat, you dare to use this move? Then let's go head to head. Duan Yifeng's crystal divine domain also underwent a transformation. Those crystal life forms began to shed their crystal bodies, transforming into streams of seven-colored light, converging into a vast tide, rushing towards the sun divine domain. Lu Shang was dazzled watching the two peak-level divine domains collide violently. They've actually completely abandoned their physical bodies, merging with cosmic energy as one, achieving immortality through the divine Tao. Truly astonishing. This is the clash of two peak divine domains. Countless insights and premonitions are simultaneously flooding my mind. Innumerable brilliant images were reflected in Lu Shang's eyes. Every second, he received an immeasurable amount of information. Lu Shang watched, mesmerized, his entire being entering an incomprehensible state. All his attention was focused on the great divine domain battle before him. Yet, his hands moved before him as fast as flight, effortlessly creating rows of stars and crystal planets. Lu Shang's movements became faster and more proficient. Smoothly, even its scale began to gradually approach Wang He's Sun Divine Domain and Duan Yifeng's Crystal Divine Domain. Unknowingly, the scale of the crystal planets and stars created by Lu Shang had begun to gradually approach the quantity present in the grand battle between the two. This star region naturally became the third divine domain in this chessboard-like space. On one side of the chessboard, Yang Yizhou quietly watched this scene. He looked at Lu Shang without blinking, his gentle eyes filled with both joy and a touch of wistfulness. Meanwhile, on Azure Star, boom, a bright red energy beam shot out from the black spaceship like the scythe of the Grim Reaper. The crowd screamed, "Run quickly!" The skyscrapers in the city, swept by this beam of light, toppled like straw. Deep, charred trenches were left etched into the streets. A robust martial artist suddenly roared wildly. He stomped his feet hard on the ground, creating two large craters, and his entire body shot into the sky like a cannonball, rushing towards the spaceship. As the burly man flew out, a massive energy blast shot towards him from the sky. Fortunately, he shattered it with his fist. This was a martial Tao grandmaster, and furthermore, a martial artist with a talent for elemental control, possessing terrifying strength. As the smoke and dust gradually dissipated, countless people looked up, their faces filled with excitement. The Silver Crown Martial Saint clan, he is the guardian deity of our lion country. Lord Silver Crown Martial Saint clan, president of the World Martial Artists Association, leader of the Western Martial Tao. Lord Silver Crown Martial Saint clan has arrived. We are saved. Martial Saint clan will surely repel the evil alien invaders and protect Azure Star. Cheers erupted throughout the city, but no one noticed that the silver-haired, middle-aged man they considered their savior was staring intently at the black spaceship, his expression grave. Clan's gaze swept over the seemingly bottomless, charred trenches, his expression grim. The power of this technology is immense. Even I wouldn't dare face it head-on. But its speed isn't fast. It can be dodged. That terrorist doesn't dare show himself. If he only relies on the spaceship to attack, it means the pilot's own strength probably isn't that great. As the martial saint of the Lion Country, a god among men, usually revered and worshipped by hundreds of millions, now, at such a critical moment, it was time for him to act. Clan ordered the other martial saints, "Be careful to avoid the lasers. We will destroy the spaceship together and kill the person inside." Hearing this, the martial artist responded in unison, "Yes, sir." Silver Crown Star, Clan thought, his gaze as sharp as the longsword in his hand. The longsword transformed into a streak of light. A vast amount of worldly energy was drawn by him to its tip, which blazed with a dazzling white light, as if a star was embedded there. Its power condensed to a single point. Clan swiftly lunged towards the underside of the spaceship. An invisible energy shield protected its exterior. Clan's eyes were like an eagle's. The white glowing longsword in his hand suddenly thrust forward. The onlookers gasped in admiration as they saw Clan launch himself at the spaceship. That's Clan's signature technique. We don't need to worry anymore. Clang! The tip of the sword struck the invisible energy shield as if hitting an unbreakable wall. An invisible ripple spread out. The sword tip failed to penetrate, its light continuously diminishing until it was extinguished. What? Clan's eyes widened in shock as he stared at the undamaged invisible energy shield. His attack, delivered with almost his full power, hadn't even pierced it. I can't break through his protective shield? Is my martial strength truly inferior to technology? On this planet, my martial strength can overwhelm local technology, but against the technological products of an advanced civilization, I am powerless. A sudden sense of defeat welled up in Clan's heart. He broke out in a cold sweat, wondering, what do I do now? Hee. Suddenly, a wild laugh echoed from the sky. The holographic image of the one-eyed giant, Aki, appeared on the screen, his laughter booming. He taunted, you don't even have the strength to break through the protective shield? Clan, looking down from above at the holographic one-eyed giant, said coldly, so, people from advanced civilizations only know how to rely on technology to bully others, while cowering inside their spaceship's shield like turtles in their shells? The one-eyed Aki glared coldly. Then a contemptuous smile spread across his face. Oh, you want me to come out? What, don't you dare? Clan retorted with a cold laugh. He thought to himself, if this taunt can actually force him out, perhaps there's a chance to resolve this crisis. The one-eyed giant, Aki, stomped his foot in the projection and roared, then, as you wish. The holographic figure in the city sky then vanished. Clan looked up and saw a hatch on top of the black spaceship silently open. Clan's eyes lit up, and he instinctively tightened his grip on his longsword. It worked. I've goaded him out. Suddenly, an imposing, colossal figure flew out from inside. Aki grabbed Clan's head with one hand and asked, guess how tall my Dharma idol can grow? Clan couldn't believe it. The enemy was behind me? Since when? A chill ran down his spine. So fast. And then, boundless worldly energy converged. Countless points of light gathered, and an incomparably vast Dharma idol suddenly manifested. Its height rapidly increased. 1,000 meters, 2,000 meters, 3,000 meters, 5,000 meters, until finally a colossal Dharma idol, over 8,000 meters tall, appeared before everyone. It reached towards the troposphere, as if it could touch the very atmosphere by simply raising its hand. The level of a Dharma idol was judged by its height, and it could still grow slowly over time. In an instant, Clan's eyes widened. He instinctively covered his mouth, utterly stunned. His own strength. He's even stronger than the spaceship. It's over. Witnessing Aki's Dharma idol firsthand, Clan's spirit plunged into chaos. His own 1,000-meter-tall martial Dharma idol, in front of this new one, truly looked like a mere toy. Aki's colossal martial Dharma idol blazed with furious rage, as if wanting to incinerate both heaven and earth. He smirked, his voice, filled with arrogance and contempt, thundered each word like a flying dagger aimed straight at his opponent. You insects, what do you want to do now? Before Clan could react, a massive hand that blotted out the sky shrieked down from above, clenching Clan's entire body in its palm. Clan could only remain helpless, unable to resist. The giant, Clan, and the ferocious face, along with the several-kilometer-tall Dharma idol, were now at arm's length. He heard the one-eyed Aki coldly ask, now that I've come out, what more do you want? A mere ant daring to be arrogant with me. You truly are a praying mantis trying to stop a chariot. Then, the one-eyed giant looked down, bared his teeth in a cruel smile, and said, I'll say it again. Within 3 days, I want all martial artists at level 8 and above on this planet of yours to come here and pay homage to me, along with all the precious resources on this planet. After those 3 days, if I am not satisfied with what I receive, I will destroy this tiny planet. Below, the other martial saints could only watch helplessly. A high martial artist traveling 10,000 years later, as Clan's figure was held, their fists clenched so tightly they turned white, the sound of gritted teeth echoing in the suffocatingly silent air. Fury boiled in their chests, but before that absolute oppressive might, they only felt a bitter, suffocating helplessness. Boom! The roar of the 8,000-meter giant shook space, resounding like furious thunder as his colossal hand seized Clan, lifting him into the air. Clan's face immediately contorted, sweat pouring down like rain, covering his terror-stricken expression. Then, a horrifying crushing force descended. Clan's eyes seemed to bulge from their blood-red sockets, filled with a web of blood vessels. Fresh blood began to gush from the corners of his mouth, dyeing his chin red. A wretched scream, no longer human, tore from his throat as Clan writhed madly, his body convulsing in ultimate agony and indescribable suffering. For Aki's 8,000-meter martial Dharma idol, crushing Clan in its giant hand, was as effortless and emotionless as a person casually squashing an ant. His existence, in the eyes of a powerful being like Aki, was not worth the slightest concern. Aki laughed maniacally, roaring like a true extraterrestrial demon god descending upon the world. You, and this planet, will meet this end. Countless people, Lu Shang's future citizens, below prostrated themselves on the ground, only feeling a vast shadow spreading above their heads, obscuring the light of heaven, bringing profound despair. Clan was killed in an instant. It's over. The Lion Country is about to be destroyed. Meanwhile, inside the dreamscape, The battle between the two great divine domains on the star-filled chessboard was about to end. Both divine domains had pushed their own light to the extreme. Yang Ijo stroked his beard and said, "It seems the contest between these two level 15 grandmasters is also coming to a close." Lu Shang sighed. Their divine domains have both vanished. Is this the end? While Lu Shang was intently watching and recalling the recent battle, Wang He and Duan Yifeng suddenly stopped their actions, descended to the ground, and simultaneously turned to look silently at Lu Shang. Both of them wore extremely calm expressions, without a hint of prior tension or any indication of having determined a winner, as if they were not surprised by such an outcome, as if it had been rehearsed countless times. It seemed they wanted to perform for Lu Shang. Wang He calmly said, "We have demonstrated enough. It's your turn, young man." Duan Yifeng also silently stared at Lu Shang. Lu Shang, he who gained martial arts from 10,000 years later through dreams, was startled. What? So all of this was for me? Lu Shang instinctively looked towards Yang Ijo. He found that Yang Ijo was also smiling at him, giving him an encouraging look. Lu Shang fell silent for a moment, then his hands moved once more. At this time, the star region before Lu Shang had become quite vast. This star region was filled with fixed stars and crystal planets. Previously, Lu Shang, imitating Wang He's Sun Divine Domain and Duan Yifeng's Crystal Divine Domain, had rubbed out fixed stars and crystal planets, all of which he had casually thrown in. Now this expanse of space was a chaotic mess. Three-legged golden crows and crystal life forms battled and slaughtered each other. Some fixed stars and planets had already been shattered. Lu Shang reached out, intending to gather this chaotic star region. He, like Wang He and Duan Yifeng, tried to separate the two forces into distinct groups. But after organizing for a while, he suddenly stopped his hand movements. Why must there be a winner and a loser? Can I try to let them coexist? As soon as this thought appeared, Lu Shang felt it was feasible. Therefore, Lu Shang no longer separated the two groups of forces. Instead, he intentionally placed some fixed stars and crystal planets together. His gaze, he who devours the power of 10,000 years later and becomes invincible, swept over a pair of three-legged golden crows and crystal life forms, trying to find a peaceful sanctuary amidst the warring factions. The strength of both sides was rapidly depleting, but Lu Shang was not in a hurry. His hands continuously created fixed stars and crystal planets, maintaining the strength of both sides at a comparable level. This experiment lasted for a very long time. Not only Lu Shang, but also Wang He, Duan Yifeng, and Yang Ijo were watching intently. It was not until Lu Shang had replenished the fixed stars and crystal planets countless times that Wang He finally spoke. "This idea of yours definitely won't work. My Tao and his Tao are both extremely domineering, solitary, and supreme. They absolutely cannot coexist. If our two Taos are in the same place, only one side can survive." Duan Yifeng also nodded. Indeed. Is that so?" Lu Shang's eyebrows furrowed, but quickly smoothed out. "You are both right." Lu Shang looked up, his bright eyes filled with determination, and looked at Wang He. "Therefore, there should be a third type of force joining them. What if I find a gentle Tao to mediate these two extremely domineering Taos?" As soon as he finished speaking, Lu Shang set to work. "Perhaps water is the most suitable." Lu Shang pointed a finger. Lu Shang placed his piece. Between his index and middle fingers, a deep blue light blossomed. A deep blue planet, entirely made of water, formed in Lu Shang's palm. This planet was composed of more than 90% ocean, with the rest being frozen glaciers. This planet was exceptionally beautiful. It was the planet Lu Shang had loved most so far because this planet was entirely created by him, without a trace of imitation, filled with his inspiration, dynamism, and spirituality. This azure star, a new one, created by him, had not been in the star region for long when life fluctuations immediately emanated from within the planet. A peculiar, tender cry echoed. Not long after, a small turtle with a shell on its back crawled out from the planetary core. Xuanwu. Joy filled Lu Shang's eyes. He immediately named this miraculous creation. "You are the first Xuanwu born in this star region." The golden crows and crystal dragons all approached, curiously looking at the Xuanwu. "This is the first time the three of you have met." At this moment, Wang He spoke coldly again. "You are merely diverting attention. Water and fire are incompatible. Very soon, they will start a new round of conflict." Just as Wang He said, the conflict between the three-legged golden crows and the crystal life forms had subsided, but their inherently conflicting natures made the arrogant three-legged golden crows quickly turn their spearheads towards the Xuanwu on the blue planet. However, Lu Shang paid no mind at all, saying casually, "Don't be hasty. New conflicts will naturally be resolved by new forces." A fourth force was about to join the battlefield. Wang Yi asked, startled. There's a fourth force? Duan Yifeng beside him was also stunned. Lu Shang had already begun, his hands moving in concert, his expression calm, a serene confidence on his brow that was beyond words. Lu Shang had completely transformed himself into the role of the Lord of Creation, freely wielding his talent and inspiration on this star-filled chessboard. What on the ground? Phoenix in the sky. This is the Wind Forest Star. Haha, it must be the Baihu White Tiger. After the Baihu joined, the atmosphere between the three-legged golden crows and the Xuanwu immediately softened because the three-legged golden crows liked to be near the Baihu, and the Baihu was naturally fond of playing with the Xuanwu. They were quite harmonious. But the crystal dragons seemed a bit lonely. Lu Sheng looked at the group of solitary crystal dragon life forms on the crystal planet and had another idea. Of course, I can't forget you. You should also find a companion. Immediately after, an earthy yellow planet was formed in Lu Sheng's hand. On this earth element planet, apart from rocks, there were only rocks. Within the mountain ranges, magnificent life forms had begun to break out of their shells. Lu Sheng smiled and said, the solution is the Qilin. Earth Qilin. The number of Earth planets and Earth Qilins also continuously increased. In an instant, Lu Sheng had nurtured them into a force. Just as Lu Sheng had predicted, the natural affinity of the crystal life forms for the Earth Qilins was fully engaged. They took the initiative to interact frequently, and the Earth Qilins trotted after the golden crows. Wow, why does this Qilin feel a bit shameless? Only then did Lu Sheng confidently say, you see, a perfect cycle has been born. Lu Sheng looked at the brilliantly colorful star region before him, where 5 splendors bloomed together, and felt satisfied. He couldn't help but look up and laugh. This star region has completely entered a state of harmony. The 5 forces restrain each other and promote each other. Conflict has almost ceased. What do you think? Wang He and Duan Yifeng remained silent, complex expressions on both their faces. After a long while, Duan Yifeng calmly asked, so what? Human effort has its limits. How can you alone cultivate 5 level 15 Dao simultaneously? Wang Yi chimed in with a cold snort. Indeed, reaching the limit of 1 Dao is already not easy, let alone 5. This is insatiable greed, a snake trying to swallow an elephant, wishful thinking. Beside him, Duan Yifeng continued to agree. Indeed, indeed. The smile on Lu Sheng's face faded a little. He silently gazed at the calm and stable 5 directions divine domain before him, a thoughtful look on his face. Lu Sheng pondered for a long time. He suddenly stretched out his hands and gathered all 5 forces in the vast star region before him, pushing them towards the center of the void chessboard. The former land of destruction left by the conflict between the Sun Divine Domain and the Crystal Divine Domain. The aura of great destruction was a deadly poison to planets. These planets quickly decayed, rotted, and died in the land of destruction. Life on the planets also met with misfortune. These life forms, created by Lu Sheng's own hand, were now being pushed by his own hand into the abyss of annihilation. But Lu Sheng's expression was cold and unmoved. He calmly watched that star region. Calmly watching the star region he had single-handedly created being destroyed bit by bit. This scene caused both Wang He and Duan Yifeng to frown. Why is he destroying everything he worked so hard to create? Lu Sheng's actions were no different from an artist personally throwing his most prized, newly created masterpiece into a fire pit to be incinerated. Only Yang Yizhou, opposite Lu Sheng, kept staring at Lu Sheng, seemingly deep in thought, the smile on his face growing wider and wider. Could it be very good? Lu Sheng looked at Yang Yizhou, a strange light flashing in his eyes, and asked, revered teacher, can this be considered the correct answer? Lu Sheng finally voiced the 2 words revered teacher that had been his heart. Yang Yizhou also accepted it calmly. Yang Yizhou smiled and nodded gently. The direction is correct. For the rest, just keep moving forward. When the star region created by Lu Sheng was completely destroyed, the entire void chessboard no longer held any existing matter, only a patch of dark nothingness. Wang Yi frowned, unable to understand Lu Sheng's behavior. What do you mean by this? Self-resignation? Duan Yifeng also looked at Lu Sheng with doubt. When Wang Yi wanted to ask, Yang Yizhou raised a hand to cut him off. No need to ask. This answer is meaningless to you. If you ask, you will only become more unwilling. Unwilling? Duan Yifeng was extremely puzzled. At this moment, the confusion and bewilderment on Duan Yifeng's face grew even stronger. This brat, could it be you? Lu Sheng's mind was clear and calm. This game of chess had truly brought him immense gains. It was no exaggeration to say that from this moment on, Lu Sheng's martial Tao and destiny had undergone earth-shattering changes. Especially the final answer he had verified with Yang Yizhou. That was something Wang He and Duan Yifeng had never sought. It's probably the direction for level 16. Shang thought to himself. Many things cannot be clearly stated. One can only slowly walk forward and verify them for oneself.